the crown and the halo, symbols of sovereignty, divinity, and public ascension. Welcome back to the Symbolism series. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author. In this video, we're decoding the powerful symbolism of the crown and the halo. Both of these shapes appear over the head, but for very different reasons. One is a declaration of rule, often tied to bloodline, legacy, or worldly status. The other is a declaration of sanctity, often tied to sacrifice, holiness, or spiritual light. But in ritual systems, especially those practiced through public performance, the crown and the halo become interchangeable. And when used symbolically, they no longer just represent authority. They represent ascension through visibility, a soul being lifted, shown, or exalted, sometimes with consent, sometimes without it. Let's start with the crown. In every civilization, the crown has always represented rule. It's the marker of sovereignty, of power inherited or earned. The materials are symbolic: gold for divine alignment, jewels for planetary charge, spikes for solar energy or sun rays. A crown doesn't just sit on the head, it frames the mind as a source of command. In symbolic systems, whoever wears the crown is declaring, "I speak for the realm, I represent the system, I am the bridge between heaven and earth." But here's the deeper truth. In most cases, crowns aren't claimed, they're granted. And whoever grants them still holds the higher power. That's why in symbolic performance, when a public figure is shown receiving a crown, whether in a literal coronation, a music video, a fashion shoot, or a stage ceremony, they are not being empowered. They are being placed, positioned, publicly marked as the one chosen to lead, to influence, or to represent a storyline. The crown becomes a contract. It doesn't always mean autonomy. It often means allegiance. Crowns are almost always earned through initiation, and in ritual systems, that often involves suffering, sacrifice, or submission. Now compare that to the halo. The halo doesn't signal worldly rule. It signals divine light. In religious art, saints are painted with glowing circles around their heads, not because they won power, but because they embodied virtue, grace, or divine mission. The halo marks a person as illuminated, holy, spiritually visible. But here's the paradox. Both symbols function the same way in ritual performance. Both mark the head, both signal elevation. Both are used to frame a subject as untouchable, exalted, or transformed. You'll often see halos and crowns blurred in fashion and stage design. Headpieces shaped like sunbursts, discs of light, golden spikes. These visuals are not random. They are mimicking the shape of the original crown, and also the solar halo of enlightenment. In award shows, the lighting behind the performer creates a glow. The staging places them center, radiating outward. In religious ceremonies, the bishop's hat rises vertically. In royal events, the crown rests heavy. But symbolically, both mark the head as occupied by a higher force, either divine or institutional. In pop culture, when a performer wears a crown or a glowing headpiece, the visual tells the audience, "This one has ascended." But what's never shown is what they had to do to get there. The fame, the breakdowns, the rebrands, the scripted elevation. Crowns in these contexts are not always blessings. Sometimes they're burdens. They declare not just power, but ownership. Sometimes the crown isn't literal. It's stylized through color, shape, or positioning. A glowing ring behind the subject's head, a beam of light in photo shoots, a circular window behind a character during a breakthrough moment in film. These cues frame the subject as elevated, not because of their inner light, but because the system has chosen to showcase them. It's a public ascension ceremony, and the crown, or halo, is the proof. Let's also look at how failure to wear the crown is symbolized. Think of fallen kings, broken crowns, halos that flicker or disappear. These moments are just as scripted. The removal of a crown often symbolizes a fall from grace. The halo fading signals disgrace, exposure, or ritual death. When a performer is stripped of power, canceled, or removed from the public stage, their symbolic crown is taken. Sometimes in obvious ways, public humiliation, exposed scandal, or narrative reversal. Other times it's visual. The light goes out. The golden styling is replaced with black or red. The stage darkens. The crowned one has been uncrowned. In sacred rituals, to crown someone is not just to place something on their head. It is to seal a state. In weddings, the crown represents union. In death rituals, it can represent the soul's final sovereignty. In initiations, it marks the completion of transformation. That's why so many fictional storylines, especially those involving hero journeys, end with a crowning. It's the symbolic reward for surviving the fire. But here's where it gets more complex. In spiritual circles, many now seek to wear their crown, to reclaim personal sovereignty. And that's a powerful metaphor. But in symbolic terms, you must ask, whose crown is it? Because not all crowns are built for freedom. Some are forged in systems designed to control, not liberate. To truly wear a crown without being owned by it, you must build it yourself. It must come from your alignment, not from your role in someone else's narrative. The halo works the same way. A true halo is not a spotlight. It's not produced by lighting, cameras, or rituals. A true halo is the electromagnetic field generated by a clean mind, an anchored heart, and a spiritually aligned life. It's not given, it's generated. And no system can steal it once it's yours. So when you see crowns and halos in symbolism, ask deeper questions. Who placed it? What system is behind it? Is it earned or branded? Sacred or strategic? Because these symbols are not always rewards. They can also be binds. The real sovereign doesn't need a crown to lead, and the truly illuminated don't need a halo to shine. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas. 11 times published author and School of Soul has just released one of our most requested deep dives, the Magic and Occult series. This series is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who know there's more going on beneath the surface, behind the media, behind the family, behind the system. This series breaks the spell and hands you the map. The Magic and Occult series includes over 200 videos on 1. Entertainment or ritual. Decoding mainstream media as mass spellwork. 2. Occult families. Spot them. How generational magic and ritual lineage hides in plain sight. 3. Occult symbolism. The signs, seals, and signals used to claim, curse, or command. 4. Esoteric symbolism. Layered meaning, sacred geometry, and encoded messages. 5. Law is magic. How contracts, courts, and language are rituals of power. 6. Spells and spirits. What magic really is, and what happens when you use it. 7. Covens and lodges. Where modern ritual happens, and who's involved. 8. Destiny swapping. How rituals steal timelines, talent, or soul contracts. 9. Energy harvesting. Spiritual parasitism, and how to seal your field. 10. The clairs. Your intuitive senses. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and more. 11. Become magical. How to strengthen your gifts, protect your mind, and wield conscious force. 12. Miracles are real, divine intervention, faith portals, and supernatural reversals. 13. The chosen ones. What sets them apart and why they're always targeted. 14. The black sheep, the generational breaker, often isolated by design. 15. Targeted individuals, spiritual and technological targeting of aware souls. 16. Gang stalking, organized spiritual and psychological warfare. This is the most revealing, most spiritually advanced, and most protective series SOS has ever released. If you've ever felt something was off about this world, this will confirm it, and prepare you for what comes next. Your protection begins with knowledge. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault.